Now, the Leviathan, being the slowest plane, is a big fan of the old saying, slow and steady wins the race. Now, as you see, the wonderful plane mechanics, the flight mechanics done by Danny Macon, give a great, gentle glide to the flight and the turning. Uh-oh, Brian, this is one of the most obstructive hallways in the race. The water and heat combine to wreak havoc upon a player's mental stability. Ooh, Brian. You must be using the map on the bottom right to help navigate through the level. Good thinking. Brian, why don't you show them how broken the air conditioning really is? I wonder if that was actually by design. As you can see, the workers not knowing what to do. Right. All right, good flight, Brian. Good landing. All right, let's kick it up a notch, and how about take out the Pegasus for a spin? Now, Brian is going to have to account for the fact that the plane is a little faster, it's got a little worse handling and a little worse durability. So let's see how it does. Brian, he's using checkpoints, the orange rings, and he can use the fan's airflow to help increase his speed. There's also 3 other types of power-ups you can get. One gives swift speed, one gives an impenetrable and absorbent shield, and another gives repairs any pesky damage under the plane. Now, coming up is the most feared plane obstacle, the copy machines, who want nothing more than to eat the plane and print out copies. How sadistic. As you can see, he had the shield on there. Ooh. Brian, why don't you take him under some chairs? As you can see, when Brian hits power-ups on the checkpoints, beautiful particles appear around the plane, and that was done by Manny Diaz. All right, enough of the explanation. It's time for Brian to show you what a veteran pilot might accomplish. There are multiple paths in Office Race, and to get to the end of the level. And Brian is going to use the less obvious paths with the Phoenix, trying to get the best time. This obviously creates the problem of increased chance of crashing, but reduces the time that it takes. Yeah, show those copies. The manual water coolers are defying gravity with that water. By the way, but that's Bob from accounting. Here for Bob from accounting. That's surprising too. Brian's usually a huge show-off. All right, Brian, nice job, nice job. Thank you for watching Office Race. I'm now going to pass it back to Dave Klinsman to field your questions.
All right, nice job, Brian, on that one. You actually got the high score. All right. So now, if anyone has any questions they'd like to ask, there's the two mics on the sides here, so please just line up the mics if you have anything you want to ask. All right, we got one.
How do you unlock the other plane?
You'll have to download the game to find out.
Sweet, awesome.
First off, awesome game.
Thank you.
And second off, I was wondering if you guys did any paper prototypes.
Paper prototypes. The first 2 months, we spent a lot of time during our meetings just making them and throwing them around. I guess that would count, but yeah, not particularly, but we definitely had fun with just throwing paper airplanes around just to kind of have fun with it, so.
Cool, great job, guys.
Great game.
Thank you.
I was wondering if the AI used actual 3D pathfinding, or did you follow nodes?
Okay, the question for this one is if the AI followed 3D pathing or was just nodes, and the answer to that one is that we just used waypoints. So it was just different nodes going through, and they would use different, they'd check for different types of waypoints, and depending on what their stats, everything were in the placement in the race, they would take different paths based on that. Answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey Dave.
What's going on, John?
Hey, your game seems to have a lot of different objects. How did you decide to use which kind of collision for each object in your plane?
Okay, the question is how did we decide to use which kind of collision for each object of the plane? Pretty much everything in our game for the most part, besides our power-ups and checkpoints, they use spheres because they're a better bounding box. Our planes are also spheres, and we had our fans were cylinders, and pretty much everything else from there were just boxes. That's all we did. We just checked from sphere to box for pretty much everything in the game.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else? All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for coming out today. That was Office Race. We're Mystery Meet.
Yes, I am back. I'll do this again, I promise. So, it's Office Race. Everybody like it so far? Good. Just a quick side note. We normally have internal producers that go along with every team. My class is a specialty case. We had one and we lost him. The messages normally help our team schedule out the projects, make sure they get ready for milestones, that kind of thing. So I want to give props to my class as well, again, because they did such a well job without having that support. So with that, another fine group of young gentlemen, if I remember correctly. Yes. I'd like to introduce Rocket Hawk.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Again, as he said, we are Team Rocket Hawk presenting Fender Bender. And I think you guys are going to like this one. It's pretty cool. All right, on my right here, we have Chris Zukowski, Jason Hutchins, Jake Steininger, Steven Zavala, and Ryan Turner. And then on my left, we have Mike Hatter, Stephen Edwards, Patrick Whitty, Nick DeSantis, and I'm Glenn Eckerman. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Patrick Whitty to talk about the gameplay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Fender Bender. Fender Bender is a modern game for modern millennia. Its driving is interactive, hyperactive, and from time to time, retroactive. Our physics engine is ahead of the curve, riding the wave, dodging the bullet, pushing the envelope. Our fun is fully equipped, factory authorized, clinically tested, and hospital approved. Our characters are new wave and old school, where your inner child can be outward bound. It's a pick up and play, any day, relax by the pool kind of game. Our game is multiplayer,
multi-layered, and a multi-awesome type of software. Our supersized, long-lasting, high-definition, built to last and ready to go levels will surely get you going. Our game is hands-on, footloose, knee-jerk with a lot of headway. It's been inputted and downloaded. It's been All right, moving on. You gotta take it slow and go with the flow. You gotta ride with the tide and have glide in your stride. Our game, you can't snooze or else you'll lose. You gotta put the pedal to the metal and the rubber on the road. Now I'm gonna hand this mic over to Steven Zavala, who will actually talk about the game. And the differences from beginning to end.
All right, so like Pat said, Fender Bender is a vehicular combat game, specialized in a pick up and play type of style to it. So. Now, as you can hopefully see by comparing the images on the top to the images on the bottom, we've made a lot of progress over the course of developing this game. So first, we start off by just getting the core mechanics down of driving and shooting. We had to make those fun, and once we did that, we just started layering features on top of it. One of the first features was having free falling in different sections of the level, so we can open it up so you can drop down from one level on the bottom and really have more freedom to traverse a level. We also added on top of that a few extra weapons to allow for more types of play, including a freeze missile, which locks up an opponent's steering, the wrecking ball, which is a high damage melee weapon, and a shield, which can act defensively to protect you from damage and reflect projectiles. And we initially started with just one mode, deathmatch, when what you had to have the most kills in order to win. But we wanted to have more types of play available on top of that, so we added smash and grab, in which you have to blow up enemies in order to collect bullets to get points, and keep away, in which the goal is to hold on to the flag for the longest amount of time while avoiding the enemies to try and chase you away. And once we had all that done, our artists were kind of just sitting around with nothing to do. So on top of that, we added 2 additional characters. We have Mobster Mitch and Headphone Jack, and a second level. And I really like the final product. I believe we've done a lot in the 5 months we've had to work on it. But we've expanded not just the gameplay and technology, but also the art. To talk to you about that, I'm going to hand it off to our asset lead, Zuko.